Okay, let's do some more soundtracks, but before we get into the soundtracks, let's do something that I promised Vinyl Richie in a comment section I would do, and this is the promise. This is a Merrill Womack album. This is the only one that I have. Surely Goodness and Mercy. And there it is. This was sent to me by Mona Blea of Visalia, California. And she picked this up at a place called Rescued Treasures just down the street from her house. And she knew I would dig it because Jello Biafra mentioned this dude. And I told her about it, and she found the record, and she fulfilled my wish. Anyway, this is from Spokane, Washington, and I guess this guy got in a plane crash and then tried proselytizing and was a success at it due to all the albums that he put out. So here's Merrill Womack, the guy with the burnt face, talking to people with, well, some of them are serious and some of them are laughing. All right. Oh, here's another thing. I just got the Blu-ray of this, so I don't need this copy anymore. If anybody wants this copy of Sleepers, it's a great movie, big star cast. If anybody wants it, give me their address. I'll mail it to you for nothing, because I got the fancy version now. Oh, and if you're wondering, in the background you're hearing the Butthole Surfers double live bootleg cassette, because I recently got a great little cassette deck. So I'm able to play this cassette that I bought way back in the 90s. Okay. The Fog soundtrack. This is from Wax Works Records. Scary movie filmed on the California coast. And let's see if this comes with anything. Wow. Like I always say, when you buy from Wax Works, you definitely get your money's worth. The jacket that these come in from Wax Works weigh a ton. And that's because it's solid cardboard. No thin stuff for them. In fact, it is so solid, you can't even get the record in. And I get a lot of records in the mail where the record isn't in the little slot for the jacket, and I was wondering, are these not supposed to go inside of these? And you're just supposed to put them in there like this. Is this the way they're supposed to be stored? And if so, why offer the openings? And speaking of the openings, there's a third disc. So this is a 3-disc set for the movie The Fog, and here is the book that comes with it, and it's just got pictures from the movie. Alright, so that is The Fog soundtrack. But wait, there is more. Here is the soundtrack from Death Waltz Records. And this one is on, I guess supposed to be gold vinyl. Nope, nothing in there. Anyway, these go in very nice, and it's because Death Waltz, again, makes their packaging very sturdy. You could drop this thing off of a building and it would survive. And it's kind of oversized. So the records go in easy, and they come out easy, and nope, that's it. No little posters or extra bits in this copy of Death Waltz version of the soundtrack to the movie The Fog. All right, let's get into some more. These are HBO comedic specials from probably the 80s, early 90s. So let's get into it. George Carlin, What Am I Doing in New Jersey? Yep, What Am I Doing in New Jersey? HBO special soundtrack. I don't need to say anything about George Carlin. Even more, if you don't dig George Carlin, I don't know what you're doing watching this video. Okay, here's George Carlin jamming in New York. This has got The Planet's Fine, Golf Courses for the Homeless, on and on. Everything on this is just the best you've ever heard. Okay, this one is pretty much the soundtrack to the George Carlin HBO special called Life is Worth Losing. And this one is called I Kinda Like It When a Lot of People Die. And this was recorded 9/10/2001. And I think that's what the HBO special was going to be called. And then the 9/11 thing happened. And so he had to scrap the name of the special, and he kind of had to redo it, but this is pretty much what's on the special. As far as high points. Okay, here is the soundtrack to the movie Grizzly. As I've said before, great cover. Great little sticker. That woman's arm is in his mouth. It's kind of rough. Anyway, the cover is where the greatness of this soundtrack stops. If you see this record, don't pay a lot of money for it, but just buy it for the artwork. Don't play the record. You will be very disappointed. The soundtrack to Grizzly is terrible. I gotta take a break. I've been thinking about the soundtrack to Grizzly right now. It's really bad. There's no tense orchestra music or anything. It sounds like something, I don't know. It sounds really bad, but what a great record cover. Alright, this thing is one of my prized possessions. It's the soundtrack to Cruisin, the original one, and the band Madeline Van Ritz. I got an autograph from the drummer right on the back. And if that isn't great enough, I got an autograph from William Friedkin, the director of this movie, and I even got him to autograph it to Darby Crash because the Germs have a song on this thing. And that's not the only reason to buy this. Some of the songs on this thing, if you speed them up, are really groovy. Alright, let's continue on with the movie Cruisin. The Germs Cruisin studio sessions. These are the little songs that they recorded for the movie on command. And here is an ultra version, better sounding version of these songs from Waxworks Records. And this is the soundtrack to Cruisin. This is all the songs from the soundtrack that this thing has, and more. And this thing folds out into this kind of hard to handle type situation. And the records are inside here and they're blue, and I'm not going to pull them out. But if you got a little extra cash, this thing is well worth picking up. It's a hip, groovy little soundtrack, and Waxworks Records put in the songs from the recording sessions, even though the movie only used one of the songs. And I have to say they used the best song. Alright. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'll just show this record. If I have to say to you anything about this record, too bad for you. Alright, here we go. This is Terminal City Ricochet. And this is the soundtrack to a Canadian film. It has DOA, The Beatniks, Jello Biafra, No Means No, Brain Eater, Jerry Hanna, which was the singer for the Subhumans, Canada style. More DOA, more Jello Biafra. Just Jello Biafra and DOA rule this soundtrack. This thing is definitely worth picking up if you ever see it. I don't think they'll ever do a repressing of something like this, which is just heartbreaking, because this is a really good soundtrack to a very strange movie. But do you think Jello Biafra DOA would be involved in anything other than a strange movie? I hope not. Alright, this is the soundtrack to Dead and Buried. A very interesting, slow-paced, crazy movie about a guy who purposely has people killed and then brings them back to life in a small town on the East Coast. And comes with this thing. And it's got the guy from Chico and the Man in it. Not Freddie Prinze. Alright, you get in there. And here's what the LP looks like. Very much matches the cover. And maybe I should get to what this thing sounds like. It sounds very interesting. But to pick one of these up for a small price is going to be hard to do. And the price of this thing doesn't really match the quality of it, which is too bad. Quality's good, just overpriced for the soundtrack to Dead and Buried with the nurse and the needle in the eye. What a great scene. Alright. And we're going to end this video praising Detroit with Dr. Detroit. This is a movie I've never seen. I guess I should order the Blu-ray of it, you know, for a $20 bill. Check it out. You tell me, is this movie worth buying? Because I don't have any streaming service. I have no internet into this house, no cable. Just a 4K Blu-ray player, which is all region, which I had to spend a little money to get. So if something is only available from Germany or Japan or somewhere where there's a different coding, it's not a problem for me. So you tell me, is this Dr. Detroit movie worth checking out? Because the song on this by Devo, which was the theme to Dr. Detroit, it's okay. It's not itching, swelling brain. Alright, that's the end of this video. Good night.